time, he decided to try the stock of a theatrical company in the hope of finding not only clothes but also something that would hide the empty space above his shoulders. Shivering with cold, he hurried to Drury Lane, the center of the theatre world. He soon found a suitable shop. He made his way invisible upstairs and came out a little later, wearing bandages around his forehead, dark glasses, false nose, big bushy side whiskers, and a large hat. To escape without being seen, he carelessly attacked the shopkeeper from behind, after which he robbed him of all the money he could find. Eager to get away from crowded London, he took a train to the village of Iping, where he booked 2 rooms at the local inn. The arrival of a stranger at an inn in winter was in any case an unusual event. A stranger of such uncommon appearances set all tongues wagging. Mrs. Hall, the landlord's wife, made very effort to be friendly, but Griffin had no desire to talk and told her, "My reason for coming to Epping is a desire for solitude. I do not wish to be disturbed in my work. Besides, an accident has affected my face." Satisfied that her guest was an eccentric scientist, and in view of the fact that he had paid her in advance, Mrs. Hall was prepared to excuse the strange habits and irritable temper. But the stolen money did not last long, and presently Griffin had to admit that he had no more ready cash. He pretended, however, that he was expecting a cheque to arrive at any moment. Shortly afterwards, a curious episode occurred. Very early in the morning, a clergyman and his wife were awakened by noises in the study. Creeping downstairs, they heard the chink of money being taken from the clergyman's desk. Without making any noise and with a poker grasped firmly in his hand, the clergyman flung upon the door, "Surrender!" This time, Griffin decided to try the clothing of a theatrical world, as he knew that he would surely find something there to cover his face with. And he quickly reached Drury Lane, the center of the theatrical world, as he was shivering with cold. He found a shop according to his needs and entered it. He came out wearing bandages around his forehead, false nose, side whiskers, and a hat. Then, as he did not have any money, he attacked the shopkeeper and robbed him of all his money. Then he felt that London was too crowded and decided to go to a small village nearby, that is, Epping. He took a train and booked 2 rooms in a local inn. The event of a stranger coming and staying at the inn in the winter night was not a normal thing to happen. And in Epping, everybody started talking about it, also because Griffin looked very strange. Of the inn where Griffin stayed, that is Mrs. Hall, made a lot of efforts to be friendly with Griffin, but he did not want to talk. He clearly told her that his reason for coming to Epping was for peace and quietness, and he did not wish to be disturbed in his work. And also he told her that an accident had affected his face, due to which he had to cover it. Then we can see that the landlord's wife, Mrs. Hall, accepted that her new guest was a strange scientist and was ready to excuse his temper and habits because he paid her in advance. Then the time came when his money was over and he had no ready cash available for further payment at the inn. And he had to pretend that he was waiting for a check which would arrive at any moment. Then we can say something really strange happened. The thing was that the clergyman and his wife were awakened by some noises in their study room, And when they were coming downstairs, they could hear the sound of money being taken from the clergyman's desk. The clergyman held a metal rod in his hand and flung the door open. And as soon as he opened the door, he said, "Surrender," as he thought he had caught the thief. Then, to his amazement, he realized that the room appeared to be empty. He and his wife looked under the desk and behind the curtains and even up the chimney. There wasn't a sign of anybody. Yet the desk had been opened and the housekeeping money was missing. "Extraordinary affair," the clergyman kept saying for the rest of the day. But it was not as extraordinary as the behavior of Mrs. Hall's furniture a little later that morning. So, to their surprise, they couldn't see anybody. They looked under the desk, behind the curtains, and also up the chimney, but the person was nowhere to be seen. Yet the desk had been opened and the housekeeping money was gone. Then the clergyman kept on saying, "Extraordinary affair," the whole day because he was shocked by the incident. But the things that happened with Mrs. Hall's furniture were much more fascinating.